Peace, loves, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Emerald and I'm so excited to have you here today. Today we are going to be talking about the personal planets in astrology, specifically in regards to a romantic relationship and what that could look like for you. So officially, welcome to my little crib in Sedona. I will probably not give a full tour because this is literally it, the fridge. Okay, you know, okay? Everything is where it needs to be, but I will definitely be posting a vlog soon of how I moved to Sedona and all of that, so stay tuned for that. On topic, let's talk about the personal planets in astrology. This is so important. For this, we're going to be talking about your sun, your moon, your Venus, your Mars, and your Mercury. Not necessarily Jupiter or Saturn. Technically, that is still a personal planet, but in this video, I'm going to really be kind of honing in on what really makes you you in a relationship and how that can either make or break your relationship. Crystals for today are actually this beautiful golden healer crystal that I found at the place that I work at. This pillar just stood out to me, and this is so profound. Absolutely love this crystal. So we've got this here channeling light for us, and I have blue apatite as well because this little Virgo forgot her notes somewhere. I don't know where my notes went. I wrote them on a sticky note, just spur of the moment, and they're gone. So this will all be coming from the dome, from spirit, from me to you. Go ahead, sit back and relax, take some notes. This shouldn't be a really long video, but we'll see. Okay, so first I do really want to emphasize the sun sign in a personal relationship, right? The sun sign is how somebody is going towards their life, where they're going. They're not quite there yet. It is their kind of destiny in a way. You'd have to look at the North Node and other things like the 10th house in astrology to really see and pinpoint a person's destiny. But we know that a person's sun sign is not necessarily them, but what they're going towards in life and the light that shines through them in their day-to-day. So what's really important in personal relationships, you can assist your partner in reaching their life's goals. If you know where their sun sign is and their sun sign is in a good place or perfectly aspected somehow in your chart, then you know that you're actually there to assist this person in reaching their highest potential. And that's amazing. A lot of times what I see are people mixing and matching. So the sun matches the moon or the moon matches the sun in relationships. For example, if you have a guy and a girl, right? So the guy's sun sign is in Leo, the girl's sun sign is in or the girl's moon sign is in Leo. So that is such a good combination because then you've got that kind of sun vitality mixed with the more emotional self. And whatever the sun person is giving, the moon person loves. And whatever the moon person is giving, the sun person really loves too. It's such a good combination when you have the same exact moon or sun sign as your partner. I need more glitter. This is what I get for going to put on more glitter. I just spilled my water everywhere on the floor. One moment. Okay, I had to do some readjusting back to our scheduled program though. Do not be distracted by the plants. They are just giving us more energy, right? Okay, so I think that the most important things in a relationship that will make or break a relationship specifically are the moon sign, the Venus sign, and your descendant sign. I did a little TikTok on this. I'll probably put it up on YouTube too, but I did also put it on Instagram. But definitely let's go ahead and hit on to the moon sign in your relationships. So for the moon sign in your relationships, you will quite literally be your moon, okay? Your moon is your most comfortable part of you. It is you. It is already what you embody. It is your emotional self. It is how you feel, right? It's always how you feel. So when you're in a relationship, you're constantly feeling. You're feeling the other person, you're feeling in love, you're feeling like this, you're feeling like that. So you have to recognize that in a relationship, you will show up more as your moon sign. This person that you're in a relationship is going to have great aspects to your moon sign. I personally have learned my lesson to relationships with negative aspects to your moon or Venus. It will not work. It will not. It doesn't matter how attracted you are to this person, it will not work if your moon sign is not loved on, okay? So important. Now, what's really, really interesting is the Venus sign is always going to be the undercurrent of the relationship, right? So even though your moon signs might be vibing real good, like 2 fire moons, 2 water moons, you know, whatever the case, like you guys could be totally vibing. It's the Venus sign that is always going to be that reason why you don't feel 100% secure in the relationship, okay? It's going to be the reason why you do feel very secure in the relationship, but maybe not emotionally. Like if your moon signs are not good together, but your Venus signs are good together, then you're going to still feel that kind of disconnection. Kind of like those people who, let's say you have a Venus in Libra, like I do. So let's say you have like a Venus in Libra and you really need somebody who is like responsible, fair, loving, has good income, money, things like that. But your moon sign is totally different from that. Imagine if somebody can give you money and all that, but your moon sign does not feel seen. Then only one part of you is fulfilled and you're still going to end up unsatisfied in the relationship. So it's very important that your moon sign and your Venus sign and that other person's moon and Venus are really good aspecting with each other. And it's pretty easy. You can actually pull up a chart on astroseek.com and you can pull up a synastry chart, which is basically just putting two people's charts on top of each other and seeing where the planets lie within each other's charts. This is personally my favorite thing to do. So if you want a synastry reading, you feel like it's confusing or something, get a synastry reading with me. I will freaking rock your world. I love putting partners together and like seeing what's working, seeing what's not, seeing what needs to flow or what needs to go. It's incredible. So yeah, just always hit me up either on Instagram or just message me directly if you ever want a reading with me. So as I was saying, the Venus sign, it is definitely the undercurrent. It's going to be what somebody wants in the relationship, right? Whereas your moon sign is just like who you are and how you show up. But in a relationship, the Venus sign is going to be very, very prevalent. So let's say you have an Earth Venus sign, you're going to want a partner who is very responsible with money, has money, right? It's not like a requirement that they have money, but it's actually a requirement. Yeah, as an Earth sign Venus, you're going to want somebody who's good with money, who can cook, who can clean, like very practical things, right? If you have a fire Venus sign, you're going to want somebody who's very enthusiastic about the relationship, somebody who doesn't want the fire to go out, somebody who's constantly putting logs on the flame to keep the fire going. This is the people with the fire Venus signs who, you know, you need to flirt with your partner constantly and like always have that flame going. You have a water Venus, it is so important that you tend to your emotional stability and your emotional needs. This person has to be very much so there for you emotionally and to open up your heart and to be very heart-centered. That's what the water emotions need, and to be like cracked open in a way. So if you're in love with a Venus water sign, be prepared to literally be like cracked open and loved on to the depths of your core, but you in return need to do that as well, right? And then if you have an air Venus sign, you're going to need somebody who can intellectualize with you, talk to you about real things. Like let's say the rest of your chart is very watery and you're a very spiritual person. Your Venus sign being in an air sign, you're still going to need to talk to somebody about intellect, but now you're going to want to include your spiritual thoughts, your emotional thoughts, all of those things. So you have to make sure that everything in your chart is kind of looked at so that you can see, okay, so this person has an air Venus. Sure, they're going to want to talk, but what are they going to want to talk about, you know? So now let's go ahead and talk about Mercury. Mercury is so important in relationships, like the planet of communication, the planet of learning, thinking, how you process things. This is so critical. Everybody always overlooks this for some reason. They're like, oh yeah, the Venus sign, oh, the moon sign. Okay, great. Like those are actually very important. But the Mercury sign, if y'all aren't communicating, then what kind of relationship can you have? What kind of relationship can you actually have if you don't feel like you can even talk to this person? Miscommunications like happen often. You have to look at the elements, you know? If you have a fiery Mercury sign, you're the type of person who likes to talk over people, argue, get really excited about things. And if your partner doesn't like that or is easily triggered by that and is asking you to calm down, then that's not really going to be like the best situation, because you're going to calm down, but then you're going to feel suppressed eventually you're going to feel suppressed and you're not going to be able to feel like you can really speak up and speak out. If you have an air Mercury sign, then you're gonna be talking a lot and your partner needs to be able to keep up with you. That's the thing, like keeping up with your intellect is very important for you. So if somebody, like if you're talking really fast and they're just kind of like slow with it, you might try to slow yourself down, accommodate them, but eventually that's going to irritate you and you're going to need somebody who can intellectually keep up with you. Now, if you have a water Mercury sign, then this person needs to literally feel you, right? This person needs to really feel you. You don't even really need to speak. It's all about talking without words. So if this person doesn't really understand your language, then you're going to be constantly trying to send them songs and like send them undercurrent things or like be passive aggressive with them because they don't understand you or they don't feel you. They're not open enough for you mentally and emotionally, and eventually that's going to wear you out. Now, if you have an earth Mercury, then you're very particular with what you say. You're very specific, right? And if somebody is just kind of like talking out of their ass or they're just like saying things just to say things, that's really going to turn you off. You like somebody who's logical, who thinks things through, who is practical and makes sense, right? Honestly, like me as a Virgo Mercury, I take a lot of things literally. I have a sarcastic streak, but I take a lot of things literally. I actually take everything literally. So when you're just joking, it's not a joke to me. It's not a joke unless you say this is a joke or unless we're in a comedy club and I know that we're joking, right? But if you just come out the blue and say something harmful or something weird and it's not a joke or like it's not clear, you know, for earth Mercury's, like it needs to be clear. Like, what are you saying? What are you trying to say? So eventually the earth signs are going to get kind of fed up and be like, I don't understand you, and get frustrated with the communication. Okay, so lastly, let's go ahead and talk about Mars. Mars is so juicy because Mars is technically the planet that rules over the sex drive, right? So this is how we get excited. This is how we want to make love in the bedroom. Even though the Venus sign might be chill, what about the Mars sign? Like if you're actually unsatisfied sexually in a relationship, it can point to the moon and the Mars sign, right? So let's say you have a water Mars. For women specifically, especially, this is very much so emotional connection. It's necessary to have an emotional connection, and not just one connection, but consistent connection, consistent throughout the day, consistent throughout each second of each day, of each time, of each realm. Okay, this is so important to look at your Mars because you're also going to see how this person works. Like, are they emotionally driven? That's a water Mars. Are they emotionally driven? Can they pick themselves up? Are they crying all the time? You know, you've got to have those things in mind. If we have somebody with an air Mars, then this person likes dirty talk. This person is gonna like to hear things, to see good text messages, you know, like, oh, I want you, this is what I want to do to you, you know what I'm saying? Like, an air Mars is really going to think about a lot of things. Like they're constantly overthinking. So if you want to satisfy them, you know, like in the bedroom, like ease their mind, like quite literally like put their mind to rest kind of thing, or stimulate their mind with something so that they're not overthinking about, you know, work or something like that. These are very quick, fast people. They get things done, you know, at least in their mind. Now for fire Mars, oh man, fire Mars. A fire Mars, especially in the bedroom, they're gonna want to really like be worshipped. Honestly, we're talking Aries, Sagittarius, Leo energy. They're gonna want to hear like, oh my god, you're so sexy, like you're so amazing, oh I loved what you did today, like you're so creative. Like they want to hear all of those things about them. Okay, fire signs are kind of, you know, ego driven, that's fine, but they're also going to worship you. They're going to have huge fiery passion for you in the bedroom. They're going to do whatever it takes to please you too. So it needs to be like an equal give and take, like fire and fire, you know. So this is a key. And then for an air, or no, we did air Mars, right? So we did air, earth. Earth Mars are very, very interesting. Earth Mars, they really love sensuality. So this is about like mood, right? We're lighting the candles, we have the good smells on, we have the good food ready to eat off of you. Okay, off of the body now. We have it all, okay? Sensuality. is not the same as sexuality. Sensual, we're using the senses, taste, touch, smell, all of that to ignite the senses of the earth sign. So if somebody, you know, let's say like somebody is a fire Mars and then we have an earth Mars. For the earth Mars, the fire Mars could be too quick. It could be too quick. Like, oh, you're just trying to like, you know, get in there and hit it. Like the earth Mars will be turned off immediately because they need that time, that pleasure. So an earth would probably go really good with a water Mars when we're talking about making love, things like that, and even getting things done, because earth and water go good together. They can water each other as long as one is not too dry or one is not too drowning the other. And then also fire and air go really great together because the fire loves to, you know, talk already, so the air loves to hear it, and the air is going to continue to gas up the fire. So you have these good combinations, and you have to look at every single thing in the birth chart and the synastry chart in order to really make sure that it's a good relationship. Of course, the 7th house is key as well, because the 7th house is the house of marriage, and this is the house in which you're pulling people into you. So if you have a specific element in that house, you're going to be attracting that specific element, that specific sign in your 7th house. Now, you have to make sure, does that match with the rest of my chart? You know, does that match up? Like for me, personally, I have Cancer in my 7th house. Now, I attract a lot of Cancerian men. Yeah, I still don't know how I feel, right? Don't know how I feel. But my moon sign, which is a fire moon sign, is attracting water signs. So sometimes I feel drowned out, you know, like I'm not really heard, like my excitement is kind of doused, you know? Or it could be a type of like boiling water where the water gets too hot. It gets too emotional, you know? Things like that. You have to consider every single thing and look at the aspects. You know, is it squaring? Is it trining? Is it opposing? There's so much to it, but if you really take a look, you'll really find out like what makes you happy, what makes you satisfied, and why this relationship didn't work out or why it does work out. So again, if you would love to find out your own synastry or just get like a reading on your own personal planets, then hit me up for a reading. I would be happy to describe and explain your chart to you. But until then, I think that's it, and I'm sending so much love to you. Peace.